Hello, my name is Laura and I am polyamorous in life and in knitting. This podcast is mostly about my knitting. Welcome. Mm, I have decided that I will make these videos in English as well as in Finnish, and probably will make like one Finnish video a month and one English video a month. So I think that's fair for everyone. I might do more if I feel up to it, but that is at least what I'm aiming for. I think there's no more admin stuff, so I'll start telling you what I'm wearing. I am wearing this very quick knit. This is Harlow worsted by Andrea Maury, and the worsted comes of course from the fact that this is knit in worsted weight yarn. The original Harlow hat is knit in fingering weight, but as I had these, Kura is doing something, the cat. Yeah, what was I saying? I had this yarn in my stash that I wanted to use. I didn't remember to bring the rest of it here, so I could have showed you. But this colorful yarn is Malabrigo Rios, and the colorway was liquid amber. And I got that skein of yarn from Habibi, my husband, who gave it to me previous to Christmas as a like an advent calendar-y thing. He gave me some yarn, and it was a part of that calendar. And then this dark brown here is Cascade 220. It is the colorway Galaxy, which I used with the Weekender. I'll tell you a bit about it. It's in there. But I finished it, and I thought that, well, this goes well with the Rios, so I will knit them up together in this hat. And also because I have never knit brioche before, so I wanted to try that, and I figured that this hat would be an easy project to start and practice it. And it was perfect. I did some mistakes, but it's okay. The main thing is that I learned the basics of brioche knitting. And I really enjoyed. I didn't know how big this hat would come out because I usually knit quite loosely, but I think I knit this with 4mm needles, and it was spot on. This is just the right size for me. I really like this hat. I've been using it a lot. Yeah, I think that's it about this project. And the next thing I'm wearing, if you have been here before, you have seen this sweater I'm wearing. This is the Moonstone by Veera Välimäki, and it is knit in what is it, Viking of Norway alpaca breeze. When it first got finished, or when I knit it, it was, the sleeves were really, they just climbed up and they were really short, and the hem was a bit weird because the yarn is so soft and drapey that, and it has these pockets in here, and I added these buttons too, and the pockets like dragged this hem down on the front side where the pockets are, and then the back side was like this, so it stretched like this on the width. It stretched and then it got really weird looking. So I had a bit of that yarn left, maybe less than a ball, and then I just decided that I'm going to do something about this, because I didn't wear this as much as I wanted to, because the hem was so weird. So what I did is I added a bit to the back. I'm trying to show you now. I took a bit of a video, I might put it here, but I'll try to show you here anyway, so you can see a bit closer. So you can see I just added to this this is what it is, ribbing, so that the back part would be longer, and then I decreased in the sides. It's not perfectly beautiful still, but it is so that I can use this, and I like this now a lot more. And then after I did the hem, I had some yarn left even then, so I added maybe 10 centimeters, like, I don't know, 4 inches to each sleeve. But it still climbs, but the sleeve is now to my wrist, so I think it is okay. So I consider this also as an FO, because I finished it again and now I can wear it. And then I'm wearing a third thing that is quite an old knit. These are, oh, there's a lot of cat hair in this, my socks that I have knit in 2014. And I think these are my most used socks. I have mended these a couple of times. You can see here, I'm not always mending my socks with the same colored yarn. These were scrappy socks when I knit these. Or actually I had this merino yarn in my, oh, it wasn't a stash. I maybe had one ball and some scraps. But this yarn, the whole skein went in here. And first I thought that I will make leg warmers. And here I used some merino yarns, leftovers I had from my children's like woolly pants. And then this is like, I think, non-superwash merino, all of these. And then these the foot parts I knit with some Seitsemän veljestä, that is Novita 7 Brothers yarn that I had in my stash, different colors. So these are completely different, and they're not even the same length really, but I have used this so much. They're so comfy. Usually I have like 1 or 2 thinner woolly socks under these because these are a bit loose and big for me. So it will be the perfect, like, the top top woolly socks that I use at home. I rarely use these anywhere else because they don't really fit in boots or any shoes. Maybe in rubber boots, but I don't wear them so often. So these are my home socks, and very, very well worn. Lovely, lovely scrappy socks. And I didn't remember what was the year that I knit this in, but I remembered that I had posted to Facebook about this. So I tracked that down. I looked at my Facebook page and it was 2014. So it is like 8 years ago. Yeah. I think that's it for the things that I'm wearing. And now let's move forward to the FOs, the things that I have finished recently. I had this hat was one of them, and then there was another quick project that I wanted to make. At the reason was the same, because I got the yarn from Habibi. So this yarn was Malabrigo's Silky Merino, and the colorway is Chewy. I think, I don't know, is it pronounced that way? This looks a bit like a Sophie scarf, but as you can see, it is quite long. I didn't have the pattern for the Sophie scarf, but I had the pattern for the Sophie shawl. But I didn't really look at that a lot either, because I just looked at what's the basic idea, so how you do the I-cord in these sides, and then I looked up how you do those increases and decreases, but I didn't use the same frequency. So what I did is, I had 50 grams skein of this, and I wanted to knit as long of a scarf as I could. So I just decided that I will make the increases and decreases at a certain pace, and started knitting. I played yarn chicken, and I lost a bit. As you can see, it should be like this. The ending, this is the start. The ending should be like the same, but then at this point I realized I don't have the yarn left to do this longer thing here. So I just did an I-cord bind off here. So I used the whole skein of that 50 gram lovely yarn, and it was perfect for this. And I can use it like this, so it's hanging here like this. I think it looks quite nice and elegant. Or you can do this, or I mean, I can do this. There's no, I'm not going to talk about grammar now. Yeah, you can do this and tie it in here, or I can tie it in the back, and then it's more snug and warms a bit more if I need that. Or then I found another way by accident. I can do it like this too, like I start from the neck, back neck, and tie it in the front. I think this is quite nice too. So I'm really happy with this. I have used this at home because it's quite cold in our house, so I need some warmth. So, and of course it's too cold outside now, but when in the spring I can use it like a nice little light scarf like this, and it's really nice. And it was a fun, quick and easy knit. As you might know, it's all garter stitch. Yeah, now I'm a bit hot, so I'm not wearing it right now. And the second FO, what I talked about already, is this Weekender by Andrea Maury, and it is ready. It is nice. I have worn this. It hasn't been ready that long, but I have worn this quite a lot since. And it is, I just did what the pattern told me to do, so I didn't modify anything except the needle size. I knit this in 4.5 millimeter needles, and the ribbings were 4 millimeter needles. So this one I like. It's really warm, or at least it's warm enough for these weathers. Is there anything else about this? Probably not. Oh, I don't remember if I said, but I knit this in Cascade 220 and the colorway is Galaxy. I don't know if you can see it. It's peeling already, but it's okay. I don't mind if my knits are peeling a bit, because it is the character of wool. But this alpaca bridge is peeling like really, when I'm like, I de-peel this and wear it for 5 minutes and it looks the same again. So it peels a lot. And for that reason, I think this is mostly like a home sweater. But it's okay. But I probably won't knit with this yarn again. Yeah. And then you might have seen this in the background. This is my Hinterland by Jennifer Steingass. And I started knitting this in October, and there were some issues, so I put it for a pause for a while, and I had a lot of Christmas things to do, so knittings, so I didn't have time for this. But now I decided to take it back to the active whip stage, and I knit it. This is ready now. I had to knit this yoke twice because the first one was really, really big. I used 3.5 millimeters in the first time, and I had a larger size. So this is, I think, size D now. So I'm having a bit of trouble picking the right size for me, because I don't know what size I am, even though I take the measurements. And I'm starting to learn that what kind of sweaters I like, what is too big, what is too small, and just my preferences. But now I think this is quite good now. There is one thing that I'm not gonna fix. It's not that big of a deal, but when I started the knitting this yoke, my gauge was like really weird. It wasn't consistent at all, and I had trouble with, even though I like these yarns a lot, then it's still not smooth. It's quite like bumpy and puckering a bit. But then at this point it started to get a lot nicer, and I will show you the reason for that. And I hope that my projects in the future will be smoother and better. I got myself this. Does it focus? I don't know. This is a knitting ring. So I put it in my forefinger here, and then I am a continental knitter, so I use my left hand with the yarn. I put the strands here, and then it's easier to maintain the gauge, and so that it will be more even. And I love this. I love this. It is so good. This is made by a Finnish silversmith or goldsmith, I'm not sure, but this is silver. I don't remember her name, but this ring is called Lankapiika. There is another, at least one other version of these rings that a Finnish smith is making, but this was cheaper, so I got this. But this I really love. It doesn't matter that it's not like because it's cheap, it's not good, because this is really lovely. I like this a lot. And you can put 4 strands of yarn here, which is good, because I started making another sweater which uses 3 strands, not on every row or round, but sometimes, so it'll be easier with this. I'm really happy about this. Yeah, so I think that is the reason that this part a bit more loose and this is a bit more tight and nicer, but I think it sits quite well on me. Another I don't know if it's a problem, but feature of this pattern is that this yoke is really long, so it goes like a long way after my armpit, so this sleeve is quite, there's not so much room for my arms to lift, so when I lift my arms the yoke goes like this. But either way, I think this is a lovely design, and I did make some modifications on this. I knit the sleeves short, and then the original model was shorter. I think it was like maybe here, and I did take some measurements of myself, and realized that I am quite curvy. So what I did was I made some decreases on the side here, and when it was, I did the calculations first, so I didn't just knit, I did the math, and then when it was long enough I started increasing quite a lot, because I found out that my hips are 20 centimeters wider than my waist. So if the if the sweater is like straight, then it always gets stuck on my hips, and then it's really loose on my waist. So that is not the look I want. So I think that in the future, when I make sweaters for myself, I will always make those decreases and increases, so it fits me better. And I think it's been really interesting to learn how to make these clothes that fit me, because that's the most important thing, I think, about knitting garments, and that so that you can make clothes that fit you, whereas if you buy it from the stores, then it's not so easy to find, especially if there's some, like, the fashion is at a certain point like that it fits like really skinny people or really curvy people, then the other types of bodies don't look that nice on those clothes. So I think I am this learning way now that I am like studying how to make these garments, and it is really interesting. I'm studying like by myself, not really, there's no one to teach me, but just I'm making these garments and I'm learning how to make them like for my body type, and maybe later I will learn how to make them for other types of bodies too. So I think that is really interesting, and I'm really like diving into that everything that this knitting world has to offer me. Like, I want to try different kinds of garments and knitting styles and everything, so it is you knitters know. It is wonderful. Anyway, I knit this in Retrosarja Mondi, this blue, in some lights it looks like purple, but I think the colorway was navy in English, and the number was maybe 105. Anyway, I had not worked with Mondim before, but I love this yarn. This is it feels so nice to knit it. It is like the perfect kind of bouncy and a bit rustic, but not really a lot. There's this, it's not itchy at all, but there is this, it's not smooth either. It's really nice. And the other yarn, the contrast color is Finnish dyer's yarn Ruskanlehti Polvart. So it is fingering weight also. And the colorway is Ruskanlehti. And I think it's really nice, even though it does look a bit like a forest is on fire, but it's okay. It is really beautiful. And then I forgot to tell you about this. I knit the hem in the back longer, because all my sweaters always just climb up from the back, so on the back, so it looks shorter. So I did some or quite many German short rows in the back, and then I did an I-cord bind off, because I didn't think that if with this longer hem the ribbing would be so nice. And the neck part here is like this rolling. It's not I-cord, but it looks a bit similar, so I think it would be okay if this in Finnish headway is the same as this, or almost the same. Anyway, I am happy about this. I wear this very, I don't remember the words again. I like to wear this. Anyway. Yeah, was there any other FOs? No. So, I'm going to take a sip of water and then I'll show you my whips. I have started a couple of socks for myself, just because these were something I wanted to do. And also, I don't really have fingering weight, like self-knit socks, or I do maybe 2 pairs, but they're quite old. So I started these. That was a cat. This is the yarn I got from Habibi again. It is Handu yarn Ilun ihmepalli, and so I call these socks pallisukat, which means like palli is like a little stool or a bench, and it also means like balls as in testicles, so there's a pun in that. these are pallisukat, and there's no pattern, I just knit them the way I feel. I really like this yarn. This is a merino sock yarn, and I did this slipped stitches because I thought that I want to do something with this and not just the stripes, but I think it looks a bit silly, so, but they are there and I'm not going to rip them out. I am using these 2mm and 9-inch circular needles, and the reason I'm using these because I wanted to practice knitting with this, because it felt really fiddly, but I think I'm getting used to this, and actually quite it is quite addictive to make the next stitch. It's just so different than knitting with like longer needles. You have to keep these like these, so it is really different. But once you get the hang of it, I'm sure that I'll use these needles again sometimes. Not always. It's not that much fun for me, but anyway. I did the heel. This is like the basic Finnish. Oh, I think it's Dutch heel. So it's just a heel flap and then the turn and then the gusset here. I knit that heel in DPNs because I just thought that it's too much for me at this point to try to knit the heel with this because it's so short. Anyway, and the yarn I'm using for the heel is like a contrast color for the heel and the toes. This is Drops Fabel. So it is fingering weight sock yarn. And somehow this feels right now, today and yesterday has felt like I want to knit this. There's something so, because it's so like monotonic and easy, and I didn't have the brain space for like color work or something like that because I was so tired. So this is really easy and nice. Easy as when you learn the tricks how to use these needles. But yeah, I am quite happy about this. I'm not gonna do those slip stitches. I'm gonna do them for the next sock, but not like this after that. So that was one sock or half a sock. And then I have another pair or another half of sock. This was something that I had wanted to cast on for quite a while. I bought this yarn in the fall. I don't remember exactly when, but anyway, this is Karama yarns hike. So this is like, I think, DK weight, yeah, sock yarn, and a Finnish dyer has dyed this. This is called lumu, which means like plum. And with this yarn, when I bought this from Kässäpuoti, like a yarn store that sells Finnish wool mostly. So the owner of that Kässäpuoti makes her own patterns also. So when I bought that yarn, I got this pattern, and I thought that it is really lovely. So there's these bubbles and some fun stitches. Well, it's actually pearls and twisted knits, but I think this is really fun. And the other reason that this is meaningful to me is the name Onerva. As I have told you, my Ravelry name is Onervainen, and that comes from, I will show you. There's pictures of two cats, and that one is Onerva, and that one is Orri. They have both died, and Onerva was the first cat I lost, and it was just awful. Yeah, it was really hard to lose her. But anyway, Onerva is important to me, the cat and the name. So this, as this sock pattern is called Onerva, then anytime I knit these socks, or later when I wear them, I will think of my Onerva. She was such a lovely cat. I still miss her. So those were the socks. And then there's a couple of things that I have showed you before. So I will just show them quickly. That's where I'm at the moment with them. This is my Pohjola sweater by Jenna Kostet from the Knitted Kalevala book. And I'm this far, so not very far, but it's going along quite nicely. Especially because I now have that knitting ring, which helps me with this stranded color work. I think it's beautiful, and it smells wonderfully sheepy. The wool I'm using is Suomenlammas. This is actually this purple isn't Suomenlammas. That means Finn sheep. It is Saimaa wool, so it's a Finnish spinnery that makes this Finn sheep wool. It's DK. And then this purple yarn is Karama Nyrikki Harmas. So this is Kainuun Harmas, which is Kainuu Grey. It is also an indigenous Finnish sheep breed. And the wool is really soft. It's lovely. So I think this will not be ready for this winter, but maybe it will be for the summer. And as Finnish summer can be quite cold, so I can use this then and the next winter, if not the summer. That was that. Next one. This is Aurora Cabin Shawl by Stephen West. It's starting to get a bit difficult to show, although I have quite a long cable in this. No, the wrong side. With this in this middle. I think it's like 120 something. These needles now. How can I show that? I don't know. Anyway, I'm done with this section 3 with these I think these are like peacock thingies and I am on the section 4. So if you don't know anything about this pattern, then I will have to knit 2 more of these kinds of, where are all those 5 different yarns. But the thing is that as this shawl gets wider every row, so those rows will be quite long in the end. And there will be a chevron in the bottom parts of the shawl. So I don't know when this will be ready. Hopefully for the next winter. But this is a fun knit anyway. So I don't mind that it's not ready right now. I like knitting it. Where was I? Yes. This is one thing that you have already seen also, but it's not very long still. This will be the I forgot the word. The seer cloak. Is it cloak? Maybe. Yeah. For Kuru. my 16-year-old. There is some seed stitch and cabling and a bit of I forget the basic words, sorry. You know, stockinette stitch or stocking stitch, depending on where you live. And I'm still at the part where you do a lot of increases. But soon I will be at the part where there's a bit more or less increases, but it still gets wider all the time. So this will take a while too, but it goes forward every once in a while. It is a nice knit though. I like knitting it, and I'm starting to get to the rhythm, so it's not difficult at all. Yeah. And then there is a new whip. It's not very far. It seems that I have a lot of things that are not very far, but it is like that sometimes. This will be for my son Miro. I promised him that I will knit him and his girlfriend a sweater for their birthdays. So, and that's in the summer. So I have still time to make this, but I thought that I'll start this early. This looks like really small, but it's not. It stretches out. If Miro is watching this and thinking that will not fit me, because he is going to be 21 and he is an adult size, like a man size man, not a tiny baby anymore. This is at the point where I will have to start the color work, and that is the reason I'm still at this point. I started this maybe 3 days ago, but I have been craving for more simple knits. And the color work is going to be, I have a note here for myself, but something like this. There will not be a stripe like this. This is a mark for myself. This is a swatch. So I tried on different sizes of needles, and I wanted to mark this like for myself. That's where the needle sizes change. It will be like this. Yarn I'm using for this is Cascade 220, and the colorways are, I don't remember, green and gray, and this was magenta. I think I do have a skein of that. Maybe it doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm going to show you what it's going to be like, because this you cannot possibly know from this what I've showed you. But this is the sweater that he chose. He looked through my books, and I told him that just pick the one you want and I will make that for you. It will go to be like this. This is designed by Pirjo Ivonen, and it's from the book Minun islantilaisneuleeni. And the name of the pattern is Halvar. And he's quite skinny, so I'm making size small, but it occurred to me that his shoulders are probably wider, so I will have to take some measurements. That is the yoke going to be okay, or is the shoulders? If it's not, then I'll just make some modifications and somehow try to make the yoke and the sleeve parts a size medium. But he wanted to have a fitting shirt, so the size small was right for him. But we'll see. This will be ready by July or the end of July. And the next one is, there's no more whips. That's it. Or there are, but not those that I will show you now, because I haven't knit on them. I'm going to show you some swatches, because, or my plans, because I'm not sure if the swatches are right all in here. No, but this one is going to be for Miro's girlfriend or partner. This will be Anna Huolja Hevosen. I knit that for my friend in the end of last year, and it was a fun knit. And Miro's partner is a horse girl, so she wanted one also. Or actually, I suggested it, that would you like this? And she said, yes, that would be lovely. So she chose these colors. The yarn is Sandnesgarn Pergynt, and this is blue, dark blue, and I think like a middle gray or light gray. I'm not sure. Anyway, I knit the previous Anna Huolja Hevosen with the same yarn, and at that point I was wondering, and I talked about it in my I don't remember which episode it was, but anyway, and because it is listed that this yarn is DK weight, and if you look at the meterage or yardage, I think it's not, and I was wondering that why is it. And the yarn that I knit the previous sweater with, it was quite thick, so I thought that this is really not a DK weight. But then I got these colors, so the thickness is different. This might not come as a surprise to anyone else but me. I was like, this is DK weight, but the other yarn wasn't. But I'm gonna knit it with this anyway. It will I will use size smaller needles, and she wanted like a loose sweater, and so she wanted a size medium, which would have been quite large, I think, with thicker yarn. But I think it will be just fine with the smaller yarn and this DK weight yarn. So I think it will be fine. And one thing that I'm going to do, that it is the pattern says that it is knit top, how do you say, not top, like bottom up from the hem, but I think that I am going to, this is the first time I'm doing this, that I am going to switch, that I am knitting it like top down, because that is, I think it feels nicer somehow. And also, as I'm knitting the same pattern, so it will be different, and it will be something like exciting for me, because it's not just the same thing. So I'm going to cast this on at some point, quite soon, I think, because I want to start knitting these, so they will be ready. They have their birthdays like the next day from each other, so I will have to knit this to the end of July, both of these. Yes, and then I made a swatch, but I didn't find it when I was looking for it. But I have some yarn here in this backpack. Quite a lot of yarn. So I've been wanting to have a cardigan, like different from those two that I have knit before. So like a basic cardigan. And I got this book from Habibi, Neulematkalla by, these are Sari Nordlund's designs. And there is this cardigan that I've been eyeing on. I think this picture, or this model cardigan that you see here, oh, that's not a good picture. It's like this long, quite long. There's only this drawn picture here. But I've seen some versions where the cardigan is shorter and it looks really lovely. There are some pockets there, and I'm going to knit this. But the thing is that this says that I would have to have like 2 kilometers of yarn, and it is knit on like with fingering weight and mohair. So I would have to have 4 kilometers of yarn. So it is a bit too expensive for me. So what I'm doing is I took the budget option here. And this was like I thought that this is the cheapest yarn that looked nice enough for me in the web shop. I think this colorway is really lovely. I'm not sure if you can see it. It's like there's some purple and some petrol in this, and maybe like some kind of blue undertone or the base. So I got a lot of this because it was cheap. I did a swatch with this, and I am going to knit it, but the knitting didn't feel that nice because this is superwash yarn, and this is what I have not ever felt with superwash yarn before. It feels really plasticky. So the knitting experience isn't that nice, but when I did the swatch, I washed it and it felt okay after that, so I think it will be fine. But anyway, I am going to knit the sunnuntai, it means Sunday, cardigan with this yarn. And I think it will be the next whip I start for myself, because that is something I need, the cardigan. And it's not like, oh, I just want that, that's nice. But there's been a lot of days when I thought that I wish I already had that. So I think I will have to start knitting on this quite soon. And then there are 2 of those things that I have swatched for that feel like I just want to knit them right now. I haven't done that yet, but I am thinking about them a lot. I knit a beanie for a friend of mine, and she said that she wants to thank me somehow, and so as we ordered the yarn for her beanie, and then she wanted to order some yarn for me, for myself. And at first I was like, well, I'll take like 2 balls. But she was, no, you can order as much as you want. Well, I didn't order the shop empty, but I ordered something that I calculated that I needed for a certain pattern, but it didn't work. Wait, I'll show you those yarns first. And I have been swatching a lot with this yarn because I didn't know what to do, because I was thinking that I will like marl these together for the, I forgot the name, Pavement by Veera Välimäki, but it was too thick. This is a Holst Garn Coast, so this is wool and cotton mix or blend, and I think it looked quite nice when I put this together, but it was too thick for that project, and I wasn't sure what I knew I wanted to make something with this, but now it's going to be two really special projects for me, and I will think of her every time I wear them, either of them. So what I did, I put these together. So this is mohair, silk mohair by Ito Sensai. This is the colorway is burnt umber, but I think it looks just like quite black and or really dark gray. And when I put these together, it looked so nice, so nice. I love this. I did a really small swatch because I didn't want to waste the yarn. Is this? It looks like this really dark, a bit silvery gray to me, and it's so lovely. I'm going to knit the Halu by Caitlin Hunter. So it is like this loose, quite feminine looking. There's like a large V-neck sweater, and there is lace in the yoke and bubbles, and it's really beautiful. And I think this will be perfect for me. I saw a black version of that sweater and it was just gorgeous. Yeah, this is one of the things that I am very excited about. The next one is, I was thinking what I'm going to do with this, because this color is like, I don't know if I can wear this by itself. It's just too somehow light. It looks a bit darker on the screen, but no, it's like that. Then I decided to try it with this Delia yarn. This is also silk mohair, and I already had thought of a pattern, and this might seem familiar to someone. I think this is so beautiful, so beautiful and soft, so lovely. This is going to be, or these yarns are going to be the sorry, I have to check, Cargill by Rebecca Clow. That is Crea Bear on Instagram and on YouTube. She's a Scottish designer and podcaster, and this her version of it seems like, in the picture it is like more like a wintry and thick version, but I got gauge with these yarns and it will be airy and light and soft and just wonderful. I am going to love it, because even knitting this swatch was fun, because there's this stitch pattern. I don't know if it starts to feel a bit too much when it's the whole sweater, but anyway, I liked knitting on that. And I was thinking that I will do like a really fitted garment with this sweater, so, and it will be like cropped, so maybe at the end of my waist, and I will like wear it with skirts, or I was thinking that I might have to make some skirts for myself so that it will be perfect, because I don't want that sweater to be that large or tall, because I have the size issue, and when there's that kind of pattern, then I don't know how to modify it so that the bottom parts would be like a size or two bigger. So I'm going to make it cropped, and I haven't liked cropped sweaters before, because they have been really like loose here and kind of flary, so it doesn't feel comfortable for me. So I was thinking that if I make it like quite fitting and tight, then it will be nicer, I hope, because the fabric is going to be so beautiful. Okay, I have talked over an hour, and I was thinking that I will show you a few books that I have gotten recently. Maybe I'll just show them to you like real quick. This was the first one, because Arni wanted to order some books, and I found this when I was looking at the bookstore. Then I decided, okay, this will be, because this is not for me only, this is for other people too. Our sons are quite into Star Wars and other family members also, like relatives. So, and there is a Death Star. Arni wants that for his birthday, and I promised to make that for him. A knitted Death Star. That's great. Oh, it's there. Well, this was fun. And the other book was, you might have seen this. I'm not going to try to pronounce that in Danish, because it's impossible, but in Finnish it's something like Lärkebagger. Lärkebagger, yeah. And I don't remember the title in English, but it has been translated. So this was a really, really inspiring book. There was some designs, but what was the most important for me, or interesting, there was some like scrap yarn things, or it has a lot of tips what you can do, and like kind of just, I don't know, the whole way of thinking of knitting is quite fun to me. So you can do basically anything you want with yarn, and it's really inspiring, and it sparkled something on my head too. So I will be reading on this some more, and I hope you had a lovely time with me, maybe with some tea and probably knitting, and yeah, and I hope that you will enjoy your stitches in the future too. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.